That's how we're starting the show. I think that's a good opening.
Hairball?
Yeah. Just tuning Margaret in. Uncle Grandma. Story time. That's the name of the show. It's going to have a great intro.
Uncle Grandma's Story Time.
It's the best.
With
I bet you if you put that into your artificial intelligence, it would say it's perfect. There's no better name in the history of all robot kind.
I was really trying to think about different names. I had old names, one of them being the No Mitch's Club. That one was 100% down the line, going to be it for the longest time. You're allowed to have one Mitch. Have I ever told you about my theory?
No, yeah. My name's Gary, by the way. He's Uncle Grandma, and we're going to learn a story right now. Please go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So, I got a buddy that I grew up with that I went to school with.
Named Mitch?
Named Mitch.
I had a Mitch once. I lost him for a bit. I got to get him back.
And great guy.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Real trustworthy guy.
There's no bad Mitches out there.
Huh.
Uh-oh. I just thought about the name.
Well, the thing is,
no.
I think it's a very individual thing, and I'm pretty sure everybody can think upon all the guys named Mitch that they know. There's one of them that you trust for some reason, and then the rest of them you kind of don't.
Man.
And I don't know what that is.
What if we don't know any?
And it's like they are trustworthy, but
only one
kind of not.
Highlander rules, man.
You'll always find something, and it's just like the No Homers Club from Simpsons.
Yeah, dude.
But I don't know any homers,
Mitch, man. I lived with a Mitch for 12 years. I don't think it was that many, but I wish it was forever. He's the best roommate on Earth.
You lived with your Mitch. He was your Mitch.
He was my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he's out in the wild. You know.
They do that.
Yeah. He had to go back into hiding. Wow. I lost my Mitch.
Into the bush?
Yeah.
Cool. That's kind of like a Mitch I know.
But this isn't about my Mitch. Go ahead.
No, that's it. Everyone's got their own. Everyone's got their own Mitch. That's the whole No Mitch's Club
Welcome to Story Time with Uncle Grandma. That's literally what this is about. And learning about all of these people, because your life is about people. You've met so many people.
100%.
So many.
Everything that you do, especially when you're traveling, if you're not meeting people, you're just kind of in your own world. I don't know. I've never been like that. So
that's what I love about you.
Everywhere I go, I remember more about that than I do sitting around watching TV, right? Yeah.
Well, that's because that's all you've done, and those memories are burned into your brain.
Yeah,
now we get to go in there. It's like being Uncle Grandma instead of John Malkovich.
No one wants to be Uncle Grandma.
But I'm just saying, that's what it feels like when we live through these stories. Like Mitch, what other cool names did you have for the podcast?
Oh, the original Pod Sack.
Yes, shout out to the Sack.
I will reference that maybe in the future once I bring up. I can show you these videos, but we forgot the dongle. I forgot the dongle, not we. Sorry.
I thought I had a dongle, then I learned what it was, and I didn't. That's legit. I was like, I have a whole shelf full of cords.
Yeah, we had
got
everything.
A box right there. It's on the set right now.
None of them worked with your dongle.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's it. We could probably edit video in, but then we can't talk over it.
Yeah, we'll do it next time.
Yeah, this is a good setup. This is just a hello. How are you?
But yeah, that was called the Pod Sack because we had the sack. It was where we lived, and we just did that. It was right during COVID, and it was fun.
The sweet spot.
And I was just showing you clips of that.
Very funny. Very funny, by the way.
Well, we didn't even get into the weird stuff because we made a whole bunch of episodes of storytelling.
It's like, oh, man, what did I do?
Well, once we looked back on it, and we wanted to document these stories of basically being on the road, everybody that we interviewed was all a part of a very small group, and we'd all toured in the same places around the same time. And this is I'm talking when I was 18 to 23, so that would have been 2001 to 2005-ish, somewhere around there.
Dude.
Everybody was touring around Western Canada with the same agent, and we all had stories from all of these different places, and we'd all played them. So we would start with some of them, and they were also graphic once we actually let it all out. and that we like maybe we shouldn't put this out to the world.
Yeah, so real emotions come out. And,
Yeah.
and then it gets too real. It's like, oh shit, we've done something here, haven't we?
Yeah, it's crazy because like they're not like debaucherous stories. It just gets super graphic.
Yeah, and when that's between brothers from the road, man, it hits different.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
so-
another thing. It's like being like a member of a team, you know, going through like a championship run. Like you just bond over all these things that you're all familiar with and no one else can relate to.
It literally is like any kind of team sport.
Yeah.
If you look at it that way, there's a lot of similarities. I wouldn't say it's exactly the same, but you can have
So close.
a general manager of the band. You can have like a someone to look to, or it could be a complete democracy. In my preference, because I don't necessarily think my opinion as far as music goes really matters to anybody, but
It matters to me.
my preference for being in a group of people in a band, like somebody's got to be the dictator. I like that. I don't like doing that, but I can be a part of that in my position as a drummer.
Yeah.
I enjoy that when someone's like, this is what I want, blah, 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 do this. I'm like, awesome. There's no questions now. It's not like, hey, do whatever you feel like, man. It's like,
Follow your heart, bro.
I can do that, but that,
And that's what I
thanks for
say.
the
My
thanks for
heart
the
always
guidance.
ends up at McDonald's, bro. So don't follow my heart, because then the next stop is the weed store, and then we're in big trouble. So don't put me in charge of anything. And that's from tour manager Gary. I legit have a resume. That's all
Yes.
I would do is, where's the booze, where's the joints, and where's the burgers? That was my job. And then I'd bring it all into the bar, and I'd say, these are our drinks, and off we go. And then they all turn into shots for everybody in the crowd.
And we gave you a hype towel too.
Oh, the hype towel. I should have it on set. I'm going to go get it. It's in my car.
We were at that. I remember walked through like a vintage store.
Yeah, for your hat.
Everyone
For your
was
hat.
buying clothes and stuff.
We got...
And there's like, oh yeah, here. What's this? It's like, those your hype towel. Just bought this old like
It was two.
Kitchen
It
towel.
was two little like washing towels with giraffes and trees on them. And he's like, dude, we have to get them sewn together. Every tour manager has to have a hype towel.
absolutely
Straight face. So we built it and got it stitched together by the lady in the thrift store.
Yeah.
And I still have it to this day. I've worn it at events, and it's covered in Jägermeister, like head to toe. And it's in my car. I'll bring it out for the next episode. It's so hilarious. And we were there. And then that's when we got your custom hat made as well.
That's right.
We went up and around, and it was amazing. It was a hell of a trip. Hell of a
Oh,
trip.
the super tweet.
That was the one, super tweet.
I'll wear that hat next time.
Great story. Man. You're like, so here's me, tour manager Gary. He's like, man, I got to go to this place because I got to get this custom hat built, and they do it here. He's like, let's go there. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. So I'm going with him, and I'm already liquored, and I'm on the moon. So I'm like, this is a wild time. And we go in, and there's all different stuff. There was like arcade machines in there, I think. Like it was like an old timey place that had like games as
Yeah,
well.
it was weird.
Yeah, and like sunglasses and shit. And you're like, yeah, I need super sweet written on the front of the hat. And I look at you like, what? He's like, yeah, I got to get it on the hat. It's a funny story, he says. That's what life is like with Grandma. Every single thing that we do has a story attached to it. And then you get to hear the story about why he's getting a hat that says super sweet on it. I live this. Like, this is so sweet. Go ahead. Can we tell the story, or is it?
Well, yeah, it's a pretty sweet story. I don't want to like call the guy
That's
out.
what I mean. We're not calling anyone out. We're not doing any hit pieces. This is a hit piece.
It's very endearing. So our friend Brian, he's a guitar player for a band called Disgust.
Nice. Sweet
They're
name.
from Cambridge, Ontario.
They sound like a light little three-piece, just wind chimes band.
There's two twins, and then there's Brian.
Do they go hard as fuck? I imagine that would be
Yeah,
some serious shit.
they'd be
Just wanna make
considered like, I don't know, like gore grind. No, I don't know if they're gore
That's all
grind.
you gotta say. Dude, we get it.
He would just be ripping me a new one if he's like, no, we're this. Like, yeah.
Dude, he'll probably see this, dude.
It's probably a
He will
Ford-
probably see this. It's
Ford-
going to go to all your friends. All your friends. This
I
is going to
wanna-
be must-see viewing for everybody that you're talking about.
Awesome.
This
So-
is going to be one of those shows that takes off.
I'd like to actually talk to Brian about a bunch of
Perfect.
stuff.
Let's do that.
But when we were on the road with them, like we had been in contact with them. Our friends from Cambridge, they're called Tugnut at the time. They were a 3-piece band.
Like we talked about this before.
Actually,
Ron Tugnut, the goalie.
I would say our friends, but we had never met them. Well, outside of shows, like they had played here, but we'd never been to the East. And I had contacted the guys in Tugnut, and the band I was talking about is Sparky. When Sparky was going on the road, we toured there and went and met them for the first time, and then they had put us in contact with Figs. Brian's nickname is Figs.
Like Fig Newton? Figs?
No, his last name's Figueredo. Okay, so
I'm going to be wrong on every single one of these nicknames, but I'm going to guess. I promise you I will guess everyone. Here we go.
Start taking notes.
Yeah.
So
not Fig Newtons.
Figs is the leader of the band, the singer, and he's just awesome. Nicest guy to chat with, like everything, booking the show, super easy to deal with. Again, never had met them. And when we got there and met them, he's a pretty intimidating guy. And he came off right off the bat, and he's got just the littlest bit of a lisp. And it made Neil just snicker once, and the other guys are just like, what are you doing? And at one point, like all the bands that we were watching that night were really, really good, and they're super sick.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, man, they're super thick. And it was, again, giggles, and everyone just kind of turned around. It's like, shut up. And, it was never something that was ever really brought up again. We had finished most of those shows and everything like that. And no one's like making fun of the guy or anything like that. But
that'd be rude.
There's something about that stuck with me for so long. And I was always saying Thuper Thweet. And
you
it
did
just
say it a lot. It was enough to question it for sure.
And yeah, years later, way after it happened, like just kind of caught me again and made me giggle. And I was like, man, I love those guys. When we were playing with them, it was like, we booked a couple shows with these dudes. This is going to be pretty awesome. Thuper Thweet. And we get there, and they are like literally one of the most like technical, fastest, heaviest band we had ever even seen.
That's going to be
or
a
heard.
Common theme, I think, throughout the whole.
And we were in this tiny little place called the Circus Room in Kitchener. And whoever's out there probably knows that place. And we had only played there, I think, once. Maybe we played there again years later, but I think that was the only time we played there.
So it's a bar called the Circus Room?
Yeah, and it's like half the size of this room.
Nice.
And it's a tiny little place. You can stand 30 people in it, and it was
fun.
fun.
That. Yeah, that's the way it should be. I miss that.
Yeah. And yeah, there's 4 or 5 bands. Like the whole room is filled with other people's drum kits. Everyone wants to change drums over.
Can't breathe. So much sweat.
Drummers, please get used to playing on other people's drums.
That's been a common theme. We had on the.
It's all right. Just learn how to play a 4-piece set, just to make things run smoother.
On the All Out of Angst podcast, we did Matt from All the Bands.
Yeah.
Matt Cuthbertson talked about his tips on how to not just save money, but save time and like effort.
Oh, for sure.
While on the road. And one of his things was drummers learn that it's okay to share drum sets. That was number one. I said, if you absolutely have to have something, don't take the double kick, right? Take a single kick with the double kick pedal. Like these little things, because you only have so much room. It was a great episode. We'll put a link to that somewhere in here so you can check that out, because we talked about all this. He has a whole list. I'd love to see what you would add to it, too. That could be a whole thing, too.
Great job, Matt.
That's great. So, yeah, totally agrees with you. Like, the more that you can share, the less that needs to get hauled, which means the less things need to get rented, which means less gas, and it all just trickles down, and it all ends right here if you do it right. Very cool.
Same thing goes for a bass player. And to be honest, if you want to carry around an 8x10 Ampeg fridge and a thing, and it's like now you're adding $60, $80 to the gas today, like
literally,
because of the vehicle that you now have to take.
Yeah, it's a lot there.
It's it gets a little wild. But
I took us right off of the track, sir. I'm sorry.
I don't even know. I was done. You know me. I could. tracks just kind of went.
I think it would be funny if that's how they all ended too. Was like that. We just go off on a tangent. Can you throw a quick cliffhanger for the next episode?
Well, what I want to do for the next episode is bring up some video of
Sounds like Dr. Dre.
some stuff.
Going over some video. So we're gonna need the video input.
Yeah,
Nice.
and then we'll figure out where to go from there.
Uncle Grandma, this has been a great first story time. I think you know what? If I were to compare this to something, I would say perhaps how the Nintendo Entertainment System introduced players to Super Mario Brothers, with the first level teaching you everything you need to know how to play the game just by going through it. It teaches you how to jump, what to jump onto, what happens when you jump into a brick, how put some mushroom out and you pop up, grow big. All of that you learn within the first level. So the rest of the game, you know how to play it. You just did that in podcasting form, brother. That was amazing.
Huh.
You showed everyone what to expect, where it's going to go, and how we're going to get there with one episode. That's crazy.
That's pretty cool. I like how your brain works, Gary.
That's why we're together, brother. Give me some.
Fucking A.
Well, we didn't have to. You want to just like
Rock.
rock hard? Seagal?
Yeah.
Seagal. These are the crack. That's how you know it's fitting.